Jai Jinendra Bachcho, Arohi is also joining. Let's start with Namokar Mantra. Namo Rihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Uvajjayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam, Aisom Panch Namo Yaro, Savapava Panashanau, Mangalanam Cha Savesim, Padamam Hovai Mangalam. Jai Jinendra Bachcho, how are you? Okay, looks like winter has started for some of you guys. Did it already snow your side of the country? Okay, Udyan. How about you, Arohi?
A little bit, but less than I expected.
Less than what you expected. How about you, Arush?
For me, it also snowed a little bit.
Little bit. Okay, okay. Glad. I mean, it doesn't snow in Phoenix, so I don't have to worry about that at all. It's surely going to rain this week sometime. It kind of got a bit, we got a bit of overcast, so we are starting from there. But no snow whatsoever. We don't get snow in Phoenix. Good for us. Okay, so as you all know, we are going through the first dhal of Chahdhala, है ना? Chahdhala is a Jain religious text that was it's a poetic creation that was written in the 19th century by Pandit Daulat Ramji, and he has done a great upkar on us by compressing the knowledge of our Shastra, of our Jain Shastra, into a poetic comprehension called Chahdhala. It's a poem organized into six chapters or six dhals, each dhal representing a shield, right, against, the bad karma. That's one way of describing it. The other way of describing it is that each dhal is a poetic creation that follows a particular dhala or a particular meter of recitation. Okay, so the first one, always when we start any religious text, we should start with expression of humility. That's Mangalacharan. Each shastra of ours has a Mangalacharan, right? So we'll start with the Mangalacharan of the Chedhala, and that goes like तीन भुवन में सार वीतराग विज्ञानता शिव स्वरूप शिवकार नमः त्रियोग संहारिके. Now in this Mangalacharan, Pandit Daulat Ramji, as I keep reminding you every time, is bowing down to the science of Vitaragta, the knowledge that is going to show us the path, that is going to take us on the path to moksha, that is Shivkar or Shivpath, is how it is also expressed, right? So Shivkar is the one that is going to become the cause of moksha. And what is the cause of moksha? The cause of moksha is the science of attaining Kevalya Gyan, or in the poetic sense, the Vitrag Vigyanta, right? So what poem the poet Pandit Daulat Ramji is doing, and everyone who is going through the study of Chahdala should do, is they should bring their three yogs, that is man, vachan, and kai. Their man, their mind, their vachan, their words, and their kai, their bodily actions, all in complete sync. And with complete sync of these three, they should bow down to this science, this knowledge of attaining vitragavastha, or in other words, attaining moksha. है ना? तो हम हमेशा अपने जब भी रेसिटेशन करते हैं, तो और जब भी हम स्वाध्याय करते हैं, जो हम अभी कर रहे हैं, अभी हम क्या कर रहे हैं? वी आर डूइंग अ स्वाध्याय, है ना? सो एज वी आर डूइंग दिस स्वाध्याय, we should always be bowing down to the sign to our panch parameshthis, our dev, our shastra, and our guru. Right now, in this particular one, we are bowing down to the knowledge. So in other word, we are bowing down to the shastra ji, right, to our scriptures. You can put it that way also. ठीक है? Any questions, beta? Does it make sense? Okay. So now let me do one thing. Let me share my screen so you all can see the slides. Let's see, where is it? Okay. Let me turn on the, okay. Okay. So last time we covered the Strangia number 9 and 10, right? And what were we covering? Who is going to tell me? What did we cover? Anything that you remember from the last lecture? Arohi?
We were talking about like how you get born into Narok and like all the pains and sufferings there is.
Okay. Anything in one thing in particular that you found very appealing about Nark that you would like to go there, Arohi? Do you
Uh,
remember anything?
there's nothing that's like really appealing there.
Okay.
Like in the surface, it's like the feeling of a thousand scorpions biting you,
Mhm.
and there's rivers, but they're filled with like blood, and like it's not a
Pus.
very good place to be.
Yes, yes. And do you remember that analogy of the Nark Hotel, the seven-story Nark Hotel? Sarthak, where would you like to go? Which particular floor in particular? Any floor that appeals you most from the Nark Hotel?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Any particular floor on the Nark in the Nark Lokes that appeals you, where you would like to go?
I don't want to go in any of them.
No? Okay. Sure about it? Okay.
Yeah.
So what type of bhavs you have to avoid so that you never end up in Narak?
The Kashai. And what?
संक्लेश भाव, राइट? हाई इंटेंसी कषायस, राइट? सो उनको हम
Yeah.
उनके लिए वर्ड्स क्या है? संक्लेशी भाव. कैसे भाव?
Sankleshi Bhav.
संक्लेशी, राइट? सो नॉट लाइक नॉर्मल कषायस, बट highest intensity of kashaya, they lead to narak gati, है ना? And those are the type of bhavs that we should avoid. Correct, Udyan? Right? Sankleshi bhavs, that is what we have to avoid. Okay. So in the ninth and the 10th strangia, that's what we covered, right? We covered we discussed about the adversities in the Narak. In particular, we talked about poisonous soils, right? As soon as somebody touches that soil, they jump around, right? It's so painful, right? It is like thousand scorpions biting a particular being at the same time. That is how poisonous the soil of Narak is, right? And one should be avoiding that. Okay. And there are bloody rivers and there are these extreme temperature, right? Some Naraks are super hot and some Naraks are super cold, right? Now, if you all have read about planets, you would all be able to relate to it, right, Sir Sarthak? There are certain planets which are super cold and there are certain planets that are super hot. है ना? Same is the case with Narak. There are certain Naraks out of the seven, in particular, the first few that are super hot, and then the lower Naraks are super cold, right? So some of them are thousands of degree of temperature and others are reaching 0 degree Kelvin, absolute zero temperatures, right? That's how the Narak Bhumis are. Okay. Now that is what we covered in the ninth and the 10th Strangia. Let me take a moment. I have a book today, so just so that I can do a good recitation of the of the shloka. I'm very more comfortable in reading it in Hindi, so I have a book with me today. Okay. So that said, right? So what we covered last time were these. Okay. So this is how it goes. Yes. तहाँ भूमि पर सत दुख इसो, बिच्छु सहस डसे नहीं तिसो, तहाँ राध श्रोणित वाहिनी, क्रमिकुल कलित देह दाहिनी. The next one goes like सेमर तरुदल जुत असी पत्र, असी जो देह विदारे तत्र, मेरु समान लोह गली जाय, ऐसी शीत उष्णता थाय. So yeah, one other important fact that we covered in the 10th stanza in particular was, there are no Narak bhumis don't have trees like the trees that we see, the life-giving trees that we have on our earth, right, in the Madhyalok, right? For that matter, in the Narak lok, there is no concept of trees, but rather some of these narki jeeves they are born with the power of Vikriya. They have a Vikriya Riddhi through which they can change, they can transform their shapes. And at times, some of these narki jeeves and a particular type of devs, they turn into trees that are have very spiny leaves. They are actually like metallic objects. They are like cutting objects. Semer tarudal है ना, सेमर बोलते हैं उन्हें, सेमर. They are very sharp, pointed and sharp edges. They are not exactly like trees, but they are more like something that uh, it's these beings, the narki jeeves, actually turn into these samer trees, right? And they are actually used to cut down the narki jeeves, right? So other narki jeeves these samer trees are concepted by these narki jeeves to cause pain to other narki jeeves, right? So that's how it is. There is so much of high kashai out there, that and so much of resentment amongst these narki jeeves, that they keep fighting with each other, and they keep changing their shapes to cause this pain. Now, anytime a narki jeev is cut open or cut into pieces, it's not like they are die. Their body is such that it gets cut into pieces. Every time it gets cut into pieces, they go through immense pain, and then their body comes together again, right? So in every process of breaking down of the body and joining back, there is a lot of pain. So Narak is all about pains, right? That's what happens. Now, that's what happened. Not just that, there is also a lot of the temperature is very extremes, right? These are the lands of extremes. Either they are super hot or they are super cold, right? And they are as hot as if you take a lump of iron size of the Sumeru Parvat, the highest of the mountains, right? You can think of it as a galactic object, right? Around which our galaxy rotates. If you take that big of a lump of iron, even that lump of iron will turn into liquid right at the touch of right as when it get placed in the narak gati, narak bhumis. Okay, Sarthak, makes sense, है ना? So that's how high temperature and low temperature naraks have. Now, so today we are going to cover the next two strenja. Let me do that. So before that, let me be sure that I'm on the right slide first. ठीक है, एक मिनट बेटा, give me a second. Trying to manage the screens with this. Okay, so that said, let me go back to. Okay, so here it goes. Let's see. Today, Arush, can you recite this, beta? Arush, if you can be the real me, and let's see. Arham, if you can be the mixed me.
Sir, I cannot see your screen. Like
Oh,
your screen share.
I
what do you
can't
think?
see it either.
You should have let me know, guys. Okay. Where is your focus? Okay. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, beta. Go ahead.
Oh my God, why do we take birth in Narak?
When we do law of uh,
Lot of what?
Aram, what?
आरंभ. आरंभ क्या बोलते हैं? आरंभ.
Aram.
Very careless violent activities, right? That go in doing household activities. When do we do a lot of arambhi hinsa, and we do intense parigrah, then we take birth in nark. Okay, if somebody is involved in careless hinsa, lots of it, and they are involved in lot of hoarding or possessions, right, accumulations, that is one of the reasons to take birth in narak loks. Okay, now let's keep moving. Okay, आगे पढ़ लो बेटा.
Oh my God, So we should not keep any sense of attachment with materialistic things.
Yes, absolutely true.
Okay, so now let's get to the first one, first stanza for today. तिल तिल करे देह के खंड असुर भिड़ावे दुष्ट प्रचंड सिंधु नीर ते प्यास न जाए तो पण एक न बूंद बूंद लहाए. Now this is a the next, the 11, number 11 stanza, chand of the first dhal. Now what does this talks about? This further talks about the type of experiences a particular jeev, a narki jeev, has in the naraklok. Now this one in particular talks about the type of experiences the jeeves have when they are living there. Til til kare deh ke khand, asur bhidave dusht prachand. So there are these type of devs and the type of beings in Narak. Their responsibility is all about causing differences amongst the Narki jeeves and make them fight with each other, right? So that's what their objective is. And then there is an expression of the type of hunger and thirst narki jeeves have and the kind of food or the access to the food that they get. Okay, so that's what the second part of the stranger talks about. If you go through verbatim, then we are saying the inhabitants of hell fight and chop the body of each other into small pieces. They are excited to fight amongst themselves by the wicked and fierce celestial beings called as Anur Kumars. So there is a type of Dev, although they are Devgati Jeeves, but because of their type of Kashai Karm, they are born or they are subjected to be born in with of a certain type, and they get to live in Narakloks, right? I think the first, second Narak in particular, right? We'll cover that in a bit. And all their purpose is, think of them as like those harsh jailers, right? They are responsible for management of these narakloks, and their management is not like making narak jeeves live comfortably, but rather creating situations in which these narki jeeves keeps fighting with each other, right? So their objective is basically, or nephernal objective, their objectives are bad objectives. Okay, also the second part of this stranger of the stranger talks about the kind of extreme thirst that the narki jeeves have. They are so thirsty that their thirst cannot be even quenched by water of an ocean. Even if a narki jeev get to drink the full ocean, their thirst will not get quenched. And guess what? While they have this much of thirst, there is not even a single drop of water in Narakloks, right? So, yes, somebody says, are the Narkijivs hungry and thirsty? Of course they are. They are extremely thirsty and hungry, but they don't get even a single drop of water to quench their thirst. Make sense? Okay, so now we were talking about this thing, right? I'm wondering what kind of sins make them go through variety of pains. So first we covered when a particular jeev gets born in Narki Lok, right? So Arambhi Hinsa, if they do extreme Arambhi Hinsa and do careless possessions, right? They do a lot of parigraha. That leads to being born into Naragati, right? A jeev, if they continuously do Arambhi Hinsa, careless, Hinsa, or which is household chores, Hinsa related to household chores, right? Continuously and without thinking. That is one reason. The other is accumulation of materialistic things beyond needs continuously. That lead to narki gati bandh. Now, once after narki gati bandh happens, then the second question is, what kind of sins make them go through all the pains that we just talked about, right? That whole process of chedan bhedan, of cutting through, of joining back, of being born, right? And then having this kind of thirst, or being continuously in war with other narki jeeves. The reason could be these actions, as is given by the real me. Eating meat or abhaksha food, eating, that leads to eating of your own flesh when somebody is born as a narki jeev. So if somebody is eating, meat and other animals, right, by killing other animals in this life as a human being, then when they are born in narki jeev, they will have to get to eat their own flesh. If somebody is drinking alcohol, then they will get the amazing opportunity of drinking liquid copper, molten copper, right? If somebody is having physical relationships, outside of marriage with no consent, then they will get to hug red hot burning iron dummies, right? If somebody gets involved in continuous high intensity hinsa, then they will get cut into pieces with huge knives. And if somebody continuously speaks lie, then their tongue is forcefully snatched out of their mouth and their teeth are badly broken. Who does that? Other narki jeeves and these under the commands of these Anur Kumars. Okay, Anur Kumars are the type of devs. They are type of lowly born devs, right? They are born in Devgati, but their purpose is not very good. Okay, so next, why do they not kill themselves? Why do the Narki Jeeves don't kill themselves? They want to die, but they cannot, as their bodies is vecraic. They are born with a special type of body, and that body is called as vecraic body. It is completely deformed and it is has the capability of transforming itself. Right? So it reunites after any damage. They have to live till their entire age is done. So it's not like when they are cut into pieces, they die. They still live, their body comes together again, and then they have to continue living that life until their age is over. है ना? So while they are going through this process, their cognitive abilities are all not fully expressive, right? So while they feel a lot of pain, they cannot apply their learning ability to their potential to make right efforts to come out of this process. Some jeeves still can maintain samya bhav, and with that equanimity of thoughts while they are going through pain, that leads them to coming out of this process. Otherwise, they keep accruing more and more bad karma. Oh Bhagwan, I swear today that I will not do any of such sinful activities. That's what mixed me is expressing after hearing about all these pains and sufferings of Naragati. The next stanza is talking about again the hunger. So first we covered the thirst, right? So this phrase, this stanza talks about the hunger of these infernal, these narki gati jeeves and their life expectancy. How long? What is their duration of life? Right? Remember in Nigodia ji we said ek shwas mein 8-10 bar. So in while one human being takes a single breath, the Nigodia jeeves live and die 18 times. That is not the case with Narki jeeves. है ना? And we'll cover that. What is the duration of their आयु, their living. Okay, how does this श्लोक go? तीन लोक को नाज जुखाए, मिटे न भूख कणा न लहाय, ये दुख बहु सागर लो सहे, कर्म जोग ते नरक नरगति लहे. So now what happens? These narak jeeves, right, even if they eat the entire stock of food grains of all the three parts of universe, their hunger will not be appeased. They have that much of hunger. First we covered how much of thirsty they are, right? That even if they drink the full ocean, their thirst will not get quenched. Similarly, when if they get an opportunity to eat the entire stock of food grains of all the three parts of universe, their hunger will not be appeased. Okay, but guess what? They don't get even a single, grain of anaj to eat. Not even a single speckle, right? That's the situation in Naragati. Okay, and then in the hell, souls have to bear such natural and other intense suffering for a very long period of time because their ayugati is for multiple years, multiple human years. It's not one single year or 100 years, it's for thousands of years. So once some jeev is born into naragati, they have to go through this pain for a long, long duration of time. And then it is only by fruition of previously done shubh karma of the punya karma that they may take birth in human form of life again, right? So guess what? Think of it, right? If somebody is involved in extramarital relationships, or they eat meat, or they do mindfully they eat meat, or they are involved into gambling, or they do hunting, what will it lead to? It will lead to the bandh of naragati. If somebody gets that type of bandh, there is no coming out of it for thousands of years. They will have to go through all these pains of naragati for a long, long duration of time. Make sense? Okay. So one other concept that we talked about, right, that there are these demigods, there are these devs who are who are responsible for the general management of Narakloks. These Asur Kumar Devs are called as, are actually part of the Bhavanvasi Devs. Bhavanvasi Devs are those type of Devs who actually live they have their own house, their own type of bhavans, or their own living spaces. You can call them as houses, right? And they live in those type of bhavans. They reside in those houses, and they reside in the where do these Asur Kumar Devs reside? They don't reside in the Devloks, right? The upper loks, or in the middle world. There are a type of Devs that reside in middle world also, and then of course in the 16 swargs that are above us. But these type of devs in particular, these demigods, the Asur Kumar devs, they reside in the mud part, the soil part of the first Ratna Prabha Narak, the first Narak. Okay, from there they visit the places of Narki to provoke them to fight. So that's where they reside, and then their their places of work could be in the various Narks that they are allocated to. Right now, other thing is the Asur Kumars. Not all Asur Kumar Devs provoke fight. There is a particular type of Asur Kumar Devs. So first you have these Devs. In Devs you have a particular type of Dev called Bhavanvasi Devs. In Bhavanvasi Devs there is a subcategory of Devs called as Asur Kumars. And in Asur Kumar there are these two type of Devs, Amb and Ambavarish Devs. These Devs are responsible for invocation of fights. Okay, they take sides. Like one of them, Amb Dev will take one side, and the Ambavarish Dev will take another side, and they will provoke these Narki Jeeves. They will stoke the fire. They will ask them to fight with each other, right? And make them fight, right? These devs are compulsorily mithya drashti, one who have been with wrong belief by birth, right? So that's why they are dev, but because of their past karma, they got into a dev gati, yet they are got into born as a dev gati, which is of this type, of this lowly type, है ना? That they are still involved in making other people fight. सो जो लोग बहुत मायाचार करते हैं ना, वेरी एक्सट्रीम टाइप ऑफ मायाचार, डिसीटफुल बिहेवियर, दोज जीव गेट born as Asur Kumar, in particular Ambarish and Ambarish, type of devs. Ambarish and Ambavarish devs. These devs are responsible for causing the fights because they had always been very deceitful. So even in this life, when they got an opportunity to be born as Devgati Jeeves, there is no respite. They are still behaving in the same way, in the same order. Okay. Any questions, beta, so far on these two stranjas that we covered today? Arohi, any question, beta? Sarthak, any question? Make sense, right? है ना?
Yeah.
What we covered about all these type of devs, right? From not just devs, like Narki Jeeves, what they have to go through, right? So in the two stranjas, we covered four different concepts. Four different, in the sense that first we covered, there is this situation where Narki Jeeves have to go through a process of being cut open into multiple pieces, and these Asur devs of a certain type, causing them to fight with each other, provoking fight amongst the Narki Jeeves, right? And then we talked about the quenching of the type of thirst that Narki Jeeves have, that even if they drink the full ocean, their thirst will not get satisfied. And guess what? There is not even a single drop of water to drink. Similarly, even when the narky jeeves get, the kind of hunger narky jeeves have is that even if they eat all the complete stock of anaj, of grains, that is kept for satisfying the hunger of all the devs of all the three multiverses, even then their hunger will not be satisfied. And guess what? They don't even get a single grain of anaj to eat. You know. Also, there is a description of the fact that while in the Naragati there is so much of intense pain and suffering, one has to live into that Naragati for a long, long period of time, for multiple years, not a single human year, but multiple thousands of human years, right? And it is just by the sheer uh, uday of past good karma that a particular jeev get to come out of the Naragati and be born as a human again, right? What is the main uh, learning behind this? That we all have got Manushya Gati. We should take pride in this Manushya Gati. We should be thankful for getting a life of Manushya Gati and put this to the best use. है ना? We should use this Manushya Gati to do lot of dharam dhyan, do lot of meditation, lot of contemplation, and make our lives better in general, not just materialistically, but also spiritually, so that we at very soon attain moksha. That is the best use of this life, of human life. है ना? So why is poet doing all this? Why did we start with Nagodia Jeev? Right? Why are we starting the first dhal and we are going through all this, the gory details of the Tiryanj Gati first and then Narak Gati. So one fact I think which I want to correctly place: when somebody do lot of Sankleshi Bhav, oblique behaviors, then they are born as Tiryanj Gati, as lowly animals or plants or whatever, right? When somebody does lot of Arambh and Parigrah, देन दे आर बॉर्न एज नारकी जीव्स. ठीक है ना? तो इन चीजों को याद रखना. ये वो चीजें हैं जो अवॉइडेबल है ना? इंटेंस कषाय इज अवॉइडेबल, ऑफ कोर्स, राइट? इंटेंस hoarding of resources is avoidable. We can control our accumulations, right? And doing careless hinsa while we perform our daily chores is also avoidable. These are the things that we should avoid at any cost. ठीक है? Now, last thing that we can cover today is write, and this is a contemplation exercise. Write in 5 statements that what steps you will take in life to manage the intensity of kashai, which lead to immense arambh, careless, violent activities that go in doing household activities, and parigrah, right? These are the things that we have to avoid. So the question is simple. What are the 5 things that you would do as Arush, as Arohi, as Arham, as Sarthak, as Udyan, right? So you are avoiding the immense Arambh and Parigrah, so that you do not have to take birth in Narak ever. ठीक है? Simple है ये. आप कर सकते हो ये 5 statements. Now you have to think about the activities that you do, where you can apply your carefulness, right? Where you can apply your mind properly and control these behaviors. ठीक है? Okay. चलिए. Is there any question? Okay, I guess not. So let's do our Sarvamangal part and end the class. जिनवाणी स्तुति. जावाणी के ज्ञान से सूझे लोकालोक, ते माणी मस्तक धरूं देहु सदा धोक. हे जिनवाणी भारती माँ तो है जपो दिन रैन, जो तेरी शरणा गए माँ सो पावे सुख चैन. सर्वमंगल मांगल्यम सर्व कल्याण कारकम सर्वधर्म प्रधानम जैन जयतु जैनम जयतु शासनम जैनम जयतु शासनम. Uttam Shama beta, Michhami Dukdam. See you in the next class. Okay, and one other thing, just a reminder, guys, you remember, right, that we have this event on 18th of January, where you can get an opportunity to present yourself, right? Maybe you can do a recitation of a part of the Chahdhala, है ना? That would be the best way, best thing. So think about it, discuss it with your parents, and see if you can prepare yourself. We still have time. We are still in the month of November, and the event is on 18th of January. Okay. So the opportunity is for you to maybe take a few strings, not the complete one. Let's say two, three, four, whichever in strangers that you like most in continuity and recite it. Okay. So just let me know if you are interested. I will share it with Pratiksha auntie and Shafali auntie that you guys are interested. Okay. With that, we'll end the Pathshala today. Jai Jinendra. जय जिनेन्द्र बच्चों।